It was
or
delicious.
those delicious cocktails that you had at your wedding reception that we were only supposed to have one of, and I had like 4 of, and you didn't even get one.
Ladies
me tell
and
you,
gentlemen,
they were so good.
I did not have my own signature cocktail because my bridesmaid, Ashley Cassidy, had 3.
No one said we could only take 1. I wouldn't have had 3.
No, it's totally fair because there was no sign that said only take 1. It was like this weird understood thing that the caterer was like, if you do a signature cocktail, everybody gets 1 and then we do the open bar. And it was like, well, you didn't announce that to anyone but me and Alex. So you might have not been the only one. Other people may have had more than 1 too, but they were delicious, and I'm not mad at you. I didn't have one at my wedding, but honestly, it was fine because it was already the best day for many reasons. But we got to have them at our food and alcohol tasting, like when we were planning the wedding, and it's the whole reason that we picked that cocktail. So I've had one in my life. You didn't rob me of that opportunity.
Oh, good.
But it did make me laugh when you were like, oh, I think I had 3. I was like, what? What happened?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat because throughout, like, especially, like, college and when I first moved to LA, because I moved to LA with the dream, like, I want to be an actor, which lasted, like, 7 months, because then I worked on a bunch of movie sets, and I was like, I do not want to do this. This seems awful, and I don't like anyone that does this job. So that ended very quickly, but once it ended, when I was in that, I mean, I didn't eat. I did, but I didn't eat, I never ate carbs. I didn't eat a lot. I would stop eating before I was full. I didn't drink a drop of alcohol. I didn't drink alcohol in college. I didn't drink alcohol until after I decided not to be an actor because I heard that, alcohol makes you gain weight. It was a whole thing. I was very, very thin. And for years after that, I remained thin because I mostly did jobs where I was on my feet all the time and managed restaurants and bars and clubs and stuff. So I was on my feet and I'd work like 12-hour shifts and you didn't eat for like 12 hours. So anyways, I stayed thin. And then once I finally was like, I don't want to do this anymore. It sucks so bad. I also at the same time got on medication where the like main drawback of that medication was weight gain. I'm on 3 separate medications that cause weight gain. I no longer diet because I don't believe in it. And I have had a desk job for years. So I put on 35 pounds at least. And but the thing is too is that back then I didn't work out. I mean, I stretched. I did like Pilates. Yeah. I didn't do cardio.
Like you didn't have to because you weren't even consuming that much food.
And I smoked, so like, it was like my lungs were shit, but like that keeps you thin too, and I don't smoke anymore. Yep. So it's like all of that stuff is not in my life anymore. I'm the healthiest I've ever been. I work out 6 days a week. I'm stronger than I've ever been. I feel better than I've ever felt, but I'm not the shape that my brain tells me I'm supposed to be.
Right.
But it's
and
like
it makes you feel, then it'll give you a moment of, now I feel bad about myself, and you shouldn't.
But it's like, fucking why?
I know.
I don't have any reason to feel bad about myself. I guarantee if I had a doctor evaluate me then and evaluate me now, they would say that what I'm doing now is what I should be doing.
So much better. You're being so healthy, 100%.
But
and I'm in the same boat.
I'm not the right shape.
But it's tough.
Quote unquote.
Yeah.
Right shape.
I'm not the shape I'm supposed to be as a woman. I just have to be thin. But nope, it's all lies in our heads. That is such a big struggle.
It's such a struggle, and it's a struggle that everyone has, especially women. Because if you look at men and women in film and television, it's a different thing. And yes, there is a standard of like hot man that is pretty, across the board, like washboard abs and like cut jaw. But you don't see women. There's no female equivalent to Steve Buscemi.
No, there's not.
So men...
Oh, that was a good example.
Or Adam Driver. Men can still become like great actors, Oscar award-winning actors, and they don't have to be remotely attractive or fit.
Right.
Women
Yep.
have that extra layer of, and not always, there are plenty of female actresses who aren't bombshells, but it's
there's
skewed.
exceptions, but it is mostly.
Yeah. It's very much
mostly
so
based
skewed.
on beauty. And I know a lot of young women wanted lips like Kylie Jenner a couple of years ago. I think this was in 2017. I don't know if you remember this. Kylie Jenner has admitted to having lip filler. Like, she is like, yep, I got my lips done. Yeah, because she knew there was no way to get around it. She's like,
at the before and after of Kylie Jenner.
Exactly.
It's a different person.
100%. And I respect her for at least just coming forward and being like, duh. But what sucks is back in 2017, even though she admitted it took a medical team to make her lips look like that, girls around the world started the Kylie Jenner Lip Challenge, which was where people were putting their lips into a shot glass, sucking out all of the air to create a tight suction around the lips and making them pucker out. And this resulted in some people sucking so hard that they broke the shot glass. People had to get stitches because of the glass cracking in their mouth, and other luckier kids were just walking away with some bruising and burst blood vessels. But there you go. All these people got injured, whether it was a bruise, a little red mark, or straight up stitches in the hospital, all because people were trying to look like Kylie Jenner and have those lips.
For like 45 seconds.
Exactly. Like, it's a temporary thing anyway, but this is what happens when you're looking to your idols and you think that that is perfection.
The other thing I wanted to touch on too before we move on to tattoos and piercings is if everyone did get plastic surgery, we would lose individuality. Like, we wouldn't have...
Yep.
There is something beautiful about being an individual, and I, especially with women, with female actresses, I will notice, like, if she has, like, a gap tooth, I'm like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Like, I fucking love her. Because there's that thing about her that is different from other actresses. And so that individuality, but also it's sometimes ruins career. You think about Jennifer Grey. She got her nose job.
That is a good example.
And she didn't get cast again.
It was like you lost that thing that was different about you. So
we liked your Jewish nose.
We were into it.
Or
don't change it.
Meg Ryan is a big one. Meg Ryan was so fucking adorable. Everything she touched was gold. She had thin lips. Who gives a shit? She got her lips done, and it ended it. She's not the character that we love. We love that innocent,
you're not
cute.
who I wanted. Yeah.
So
it's
sometimes
very true.
it can kind of have the opposite effect of what you want. Sometimes that one thing that's different about you is like what we liked.
Yeah, it's what we were grabbing onto. But that's what kind of sucks for those actors is like, what if they were just doing it for themselves?
True.
Like we were talking about earlier. It's not necessarily meant to meet someone else's standards. Maybe Meg Ryan was just like, I've always just wanted plump lips. I think it'll be a happy thing for me. And then everyone's like, no, wrong, go away.
It's like, well, shit.
So it's like, then you can look at it on the other side too of like, well, damn it, I was trying to make myself happy and then this went wrong. But it truly feels like there's no winning. And that's why plastic surgery is a very tough world, like changing anything about yourself. But then it's like you keep going through this endless cycle of, well, I have to change myself to meet the beauty standards, but then I'm going to be judged for changing myself, but then blah, blah, blah. Like you can just go on. And it's crazy. The psychology can get very scary and depressing, but luckily, I mean, the plus side is there are people who genuinely just go in and are like, give me bigger boobs. They get their bigger boobs and they're like, cool, see ya.
Never.
And there are those situations. So I'm not saying it's always going to be this endless cycle where you get addicted and you can't get enough, or you're disappointed in your results and you never go back and you're scarred for life. Like, yes, there are those negative sides and there are a lot of mental health issues attached, but there are many, many success stories. And especially, I mentioned that study kind of like right at the top of this, where it's like they studied those people over a year who all just focused on one problem area. They were very specific. They went in, they got it done, and after 12 months, they were like, yep, I'm content. That was what I wanted. And it's like, yes, you will see that. So it's all about where you're at when you're going into the surgery. And as I keep saying, I just really hope the evaluations stay hard and stay thorough, and they're really vetting these patients, which I think some offices do, but not every. And there's going to be those sketchier doctors that are just like, sure, whatever.
Yeah, you also
That's where it's
have to
scary.
be careful too, because the standards of beauty change. So, in the 90s, it was Carmen Electra, Pamela Anderson, big boobs and a small waist. That was like the standard. Like everyone wanted to be that hot girl that was in the Aerosmith videos. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
yeah, the video
by, 10 years later, that was out. That was like, no, we want a more natural looking woman. We don't want, we want a smaller chest and, not as cinched as a waist. And it's like, well, shit.
Right.
And like right now, like you said, like the trend is like big asses, which like I'm all about because I got one. But
yeah, I do love this trend, but it's going to be out soon
and
too.
Eventually
like
it's going to be very, very small butts. And it's like, well, what do I do with my butt implants? It's like tough. You have them now. I mean, you could,
and that's why surgery is so risky. You're just going to be like stuck with it, or do a very
have
expensive
another surgery,
additional surgery to get taken out. Yeah, so it's rough.